Lanny Poffo, I got to talk to him when Randy died, and I hadn't talked to Lanny in a long time, but he really shared with me some stuff about Mach and told me that he really, he loved working with me. He said he really, he was blown away by my charisma and my work ethic, and attention to detail. And, coming from Savage, who was the detail master. And, you think what Savage did, being on top for all those years. And, I mean, he could have been out there making, I know people want to offer him 15, 20 grand for autograph sessions because he never went out. He just didn't care. He didn't need the money.
He didn't need it, yeah.
He just wanted to be done with it, And Lanny told me that there wasn't going to be a service and stuff, that he was going to get cremated, and he had a dog, his name's Hercules, and when they cremated him, they spread his ashes next to this beautiful tree in Seminole County. And Randy, when he spread his ashes, he said, Lanny, and this is Lanny doing Mach. He says, Lanny, when I die, I don't want any big fanfare. I don't want any of that. I want you to just burn me, grab my ashes, and spread them right here with Hercules. And Lanny's like, you want me to spread your ashes next to your dog? And he said, if it's good enough for my dog, it's good enough for me. That was so much. And he also told me, he said, Diamond, do you know what Mach's biggest regret was? And if I thought I did, I wouldn't have answered that question. I just listened,
right.
Because who knows,
it could be anything.
And he said that he ever gave that name to that girl, Gorgeous George, because there was only one Gorgeous George. I mean, Hulk is humongous, and what he did for our business is, unbelievable. But Gorgeous George is the guy who started it all. He's the one that was so far ahead of the curve.
Oh,
it
yeah.
was insane. And what ended up happening was, and Lanny told me that, Mach was trying to come up with gimmicks, to cover his work rate not being as good as it was. Like, for me, his work rate was the apex of his career. That was the last big feud that he had, and to go out the way he did with us, as physical as he did, was amazing. And because he had beat the hell out of his body for over 25 years. And he said that, it was a big regret about the Gorgeous George thing. So, Lanny had said to me, he said, you have to understand, Diamond, he said that what Mach did for you is what Gorgeous George did for our dad. And I was like, wow. And he's like, yeah. So Mach actually was turning the Macho Man site. If you go there right now, it'll take you to a Gorgeous George site that they were going to really pimp out, totally do monster tribute, but they just got it up and got it started. And Lanny told me that he activated it the day before he died. And I asked Lanny, do you mind if I, tell these stories? He's like, no. He goes, Diamond, he goes, you can say whatever you want, because I know whatever you say will come from the heart. And, obviously, but very cool of him to say that,
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a rough couple weeks here, would you say, JJ, on the network after Macho Man passed away?
Yeah, I usually do a show on Fridays that, basically deals with SmackDown, and I talk a little video gaming and stuff, and I literally Macho Man was one of the guys that I originally started watching, growing up in the 80s, and was one of the first characters that I identified with because I loved his outlandish promos. The guy was so athletic, and in terms of a guy that could work, I mean, he was the workhorse for the WWF for many years. And just always one of my favorites. And I was crushed when he died that Friday morning. I literally did my show on Friday and just did a Macho Man tribute. I had callers calling in and giving their favorite moments, and it was an emotional day. I'd never met Randy Savage. I've been close a couple times, but he was someone that I always idolized. So it was a shame.
Well, you know, so many people. There were so many amazing comments on my tribute. I got them all. I read them all, and so many people said that I feel like part of my childhood just died.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, so there was a lot of people that were, really attached, to him. So, I think there's a lot of people who came out. I see Warrior came out and did one. Warrior did one like 20 minutes telling stories and stuff. I didn't see Brett's, but I really loved the way my buddy Matt Giorgio put together the video footage and stuff.
Yours was amazing. Yours was absolutely beyond a shadow of a doubt amazing. I mean, I stayed up. I stayed up from. It was, I want to say, like 3:00 in the morning when I found it, and I was up till daylight watching you and Savage again.
Watching all that stuff, and it was all, I condensed it enough that it was all there, and I actually didn't have Halloween Havoc, the last match, and I called a buddy of mine who does a lot of editing. He's a huge fan, and he had all my stuff, but I didn't have the Halloween Havoc stuff, so he had to find it, and he put it to the Dark Knight, and ended with that, and brought it all full circle, the whole feud all the way through, and it was sometimes I just go back and watch. I go, God, that was so good.